Ladies, what's the hardest part about being a woman? Getting rated on your fuckability. Sorry to be crass way before you're ready. I was 12 the first time I got followed by a creepy guy in a car. And I was a late bloomer too. I was a little twig of a kid. Looking back, that might have been part of the appeal for some of those guys. As I'm writing this, I realize now that a lot of what I'm describing applies generally to how people get victimized. I guess I would say that being a girl and then a woman involves a fair amount of being aware of how you might get hurt, specifically in a sexual or romantic manner. It's difficult to navigate. For me, the hardest thing is being disregarded by medical professionals. So much is interpreted as women being needy, or a liar or too emotional, etc. Also, I started getting heavy by 23 years old. After that, any health problem was also possibly claimed to be caused by my weight. And doctors and nurses firmly believe you are lying when they ask what you eat and you say good things. It doesn't fit their personal worldview. So I'm a liar. It gets old. For me, it's feeling unsafe around certain men. I can't walk through Walmart without wondering if the creepy dude I just saw was staring at my curves. I don't live with my parents anymore and have very few friends. So I go almost everywhere alone. Every time I go into a public building, I fear I'll be stared at or followed by creepy middle-aged men and just wish I could return to the safety of my college dorm instead of doing what I need to do. Regular, intense is just a part of life. I am fully in the thralls of perimenopause, so each period comes with intense, excruciating pain that OTC painkillers won't touch, and I can't take BC because I've had oral migraines. So once a month, for 2-ish days, I'm doubled over with cramps and joint pain that leave me hobbled and in tears. And I don't take time off because I don't want to be one of those women asking for special treatment. The crushing weight of impossible expectations, particularly as a mother, health and community relationships and traditions and activities, while receiving constant reminders of aging into insignificance, while existing in a bleeding body that wants to play life on hard mode. There's no correct way to do things, only wrong ways, and everyone's got an opinion. Career woman. Should have had a family. Working mom. Don't neglect your children. Stay at home mom. What a waste. Married your first love. Don't be naive. Slept around a lot. You're worthless. Never married. You'll never be happy. Low maintenance look. Take better care of yourself. High maintenance look. You're a tramp. Be on the lookout for a man trying to harm you every effing time you leave your house. Want to go to Target? Gotta watch where you park. And if there's anyone near your car when you get back to it. Want to go for a run or walk? Got to keep your head on a swivel and be suspicious of any man walking towards you. Forget about shopping for groceries or getting gas for your car after dark. Always being fearful of the intentions of men. Always watching my surroundings. Seeing disgusting men do terrible things to women. Knowing that could easily be you. Not feeling safe anywhere you go. Knowing that many men will only use women for their bodies. Not being able to wear the clothes you want to because it may attract unwanted male attention. Walking by a group of men. Feeling so defenseless. Menstrual cycles. But not for the reason people might expect. 10 of women experience severe and debilitating depression, psychosis, suicidal ideation for about 1/4 of their lives between their first period and the time they enter menopause. It occurs every single month of their lives and lasts for 9-10 days every month. Starting to bleed for the next 5-7 days is a relief. Having things assumed about me because of arbitrary birth characteristics. I've always been weird, and I've always hated being lumped into the category of woman by people who have opinions about what that means. I just want to be seen as myself. Other than that, PMS and cramps suck, especially since I don't want to use the equipment for producing babies. Sexual harassment and being over-sexualized. That's why being a plain Jane is better than being a hot woman. Patriarchal society. Women are considered as inferior and weaker than men. Women can't be a leader. Women can't be an engineer. Women belong in a kitchen, etc. And misogynists treat women like shit. We are always to something, to fat, thin, loud, timid, smart, dumb, fertile, selfish, list never ends. There is some perfect-sized box we are all meant to fit into, or we have invited the scrutiny of the world upon ourselves. The only perk of getting older is being freed of some of this. Being a woman itself can be hard at times. You got to be sacrificing all the time, taking care of people around you. At least that's what is expected of us as women. We women want to be cared for too sometimes. We are expected to be beautiful always, but we are not always like models and put together. Being taken seriously at work, knowing I'm more experienced and educated than a man in a role superior to mine, but that somehow having grey hair and the penis made him more qualified for the position, knowing that even if I had gotten that position, I would have been offered a lower salary. For me, not being taken seriously. It doesn't help that I'm 38 and autistic, so I look and act young for my age, even when I don't mean to. Everyone's all, "Oh, you're so cute," when I express a strong opinion. It's hard to move forward in life, and no one takes you seriously. I dunno about the hardest, but one that bothers me a lot is being judged for not finding sexist jokes funny. Jokes about women being emotional or sensitive, you don't find them funny. You're proving the joke teller right. Apparently, you literally can't win in that scenario. Over my shoulder when I go for a walk, or when I walk to the bus, or just when I'm by myself outside having to constantly check my surroundings in case there's some man who seems like he might attack me. Paranoia essentially that I'll be violated. Not being believed. Especially by other women. Lots of special women out there putting themselves out on a limb for misunderstood aggressive men that nobody else listens to, whilst actively dismissing the experiences of these men's victims. Not being taken seriously at docs, not being given pain meds that men are given for similar or the same procedures. Being physically weaker. Just regular old sexism in everyday life. Etc., etc., etc. Being sexualized. I have always had a very curvy body as a teen, and there were so many people telling me that they couldn't wait until I turned 18. When I turned 18, everybody got happy thinking I would pay them any attention. I'm a man, but I'd say bleeding out of an orifice for like a quarter of your life sucks so much. And for most women that's not even the worst part about period. Honestly, you should get at least a paid day off for period. Whole life at least some people will consider me less than themselves. And knowing that pretty much every man I encounter could easily hurt me because of the way women's bodies work compared to men's. How much our looks get picked apart in a way men's never do. Especially these days with facetune plastic surgery is not even acceptable to be natural. This whole idea you have to fix your flaws and be perfect. Time of the month. But the problem is that we would undoubtedly wonder, oh crap, am I pregnant? If we didn't get one. We simply cannot prevail. And nitrogen monoxide, we are unable to contain it like pee, it just blobs out. Agreeing with all the comments above that my personal pet peeve is getting underestimated in a professional setting. People just assume you don't know shit bonus if you work in a male-dominated industry. My boyfriend wants me to walk for hours in the dark alone from work to home every day, and he sees no problem with that. We live in the city. He said he's walked to work for 2 hours before and said I will be fine. Having to not only work full-time and basically do most of the housework, but having to mentally remind my husband to do some of his chores incorrectly. Before you'll shit on him, he's been getting better. Spent a lot of my early years as a doctor doing very comprehensive assessments and management plans, and being told by patients that I was a nurse and asked when they would finally get to see a doctor. Going to the doctor, and their solution for everything is either taking birth control or exercise. Already exercising. Try exercising more, you're a woman, you're probably being dramatic anyways. It's not so much the monthly period as much as the need to resist taking a painkiller for the cramps, so you don't think of yourself as a weak little bitch. But also no one validating you for that. My first thought was periods. Luckily, mine isn't too bad. but it get really bad for some girls, lol. The flip side is that I can think about sexy things anytime I want with no consequences. Being a wife, mother, and having to be the default for everything. Society just assumes mothers and wives take care of the kids and appointments and errands. It's exhausting and unfair. I would say labor and delivery. It's the reason I never got into obstetrics. I couldn't stand seeing the mothers suffering in the labor room. It was like I was the one in pain, probably having to become more wary of your surroundings and men, especially at night. Even when you let your guard down, you unconsciously keep an eye out here and there, all the standard human things, while constantly seeing that some men will never, ever believe that we actually do have these human experiences, is a real bummer. Periods, at least to some of us. I feel like absolute tea for a quarter of my life until menopause. It affects my mood horribly. 2. Having to constantly explain feminism for what it is rather than a world domination takeover. We just want to live in peace, dudes. Once you're a single mom, you are trash to society. Men can abandon families, start new ones, rinse and repeat, no judgment. Not wanting to destroy my body and health by having kids, and also not wanting to destroy them by taking birth control. I'm not a runner by any means, but I'd like to have the option to run by myself outside if I wanted to attempt to run. I work all the time helping my husband. He says I do of respect. My husband is catastrophic disabled. Menstrual cycles. Being punished every month for not being pregnant wasn't a good idea to start with for us. Periods and childbirth. That's something that will always remain unchanged the way they naturally are. Seeing other women who have yet to realize how much they put themselves down for the men in their lives. I've noticed older women are really hostile towards younger women. It's vicious in work environments.